All right, good morning, everyone. I will call to order this regular Franklin County Board of Commissioners meeting for September 30th. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Stottlemyre,
Present.
Commissioner Howard,
Present.
Chair Waymeyer,
Present.
Vice Chair Dickinson,
Present.
Commissioner Dunn.
Present.
All right, if you join me for the Pledge of Allegiance, and today's invocation will be led by Pastor Leonard Chisbro of the New Life in Christ Church in Ottawa. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Go ahead.
Heavenly Father God, we thank you for this day you've given us, Lord. We thank you for your protection, Lord. I pray, God, your protection protects us against this virus, Lord. And Lord, we just thank you for everything you do for us, Lord God. Just bless each one out there today. Just minister to each one of us, Lord, in a mighty way, Lord God. We give you all the praise and all the glory in Jesus' name. Amen.
All right, thank you. All right. Correspondence and organizational business. Do you have anything we need to throw on there, Derek?
No, sir.
All right. Have anybody online for public comment? No?
I do not see our one person that signed up.
All right. Dustin, our IT director's agreeing. Consent agenda today would include payroll in the amount of $1,223,189.19. Claim vouchers in the amount of $169,011.66, and our meeting minutes from September 23rd. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Commissioner Dickinson, I'll move to approve the consent agenda.
Mr. Dunn, Mr. Howard.
All right, looks like Roy got in there for a second.
Commissioner Stottlemyre, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Commissioner Dickinson,
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn,
Yes.
Chair Waymeyer.
Yes. All right, down to items of business. The first one is to consider rescinding a resolution that established the name and location of Missouri Drive, and there's plenty of details to get updated on this one by Larry Walrod, our Planning and Zoning Director. Go ahead, Larry.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. As you've indicated, this is a unusual request to rename and relocate a portion of the road system that was granted to the county a few years ago. This was a new frontage road that was related to the new Highway 59 alignment. Unfortunately, we've had some problems with the addressing off of the Missouri Drive, which is the name that was adopted by the county commissioners several years ago when KDOT granted that to the county. After reviewing the resolution, I found that that was in error too. So what we need to do is rescind the previous resolution and to adopt a new resolution establishing the official location for Missouri Drive and making this available then to all the new residents that have developed new homes along there so that their addressing is correct and consistent with our 911 addressing system. I really have nothing further to add unless any of you have questions.
This is Commissioner Dunn. I know those folks there's several new houses along there, and I know they've had trouble with deliveries on that location. So this is a good move for us to be consistent, and so the people with GPS can find that road. So I think it's a good move.
All right. Derek, the specific action requested is to make a motion to rescind resolution and then make a motion to approve resolution. It's all in one sentence, but are those two separate actions, or should we approach it that way?
I would approach it that way out of an abundance of caution and just for clarity, yeah.
Okay, well, first let's, unless there's any other questions, speak up now. Let's look for a motion to rescind resolution 909-08.
Commissioner Howard will make that motion.
Mr. Dunn, second.
Commissioner Howard, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Dickinson?
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn?
Yes.
Commissioner Stottlemyre?
Yes.
Chair Waymeyer?
Yes. All right, now would anyone like to make a motion to approve a new resolution to establish the legal location description for Missouri Drive?
Commissioner Dunn, motion to approve.
Commissioner Dickinson, I'll second it.
Commissioner Dickinson, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn?
Yes.
Commissioner Stottlemyre?
Yes.
Commissioner Howard?
Yes.
Chair Waymeyer?
Yes. And for our second item of business, we will be considering 3 new members to be appointed to the Planning Commission. Go ahead, Larry.
As you've indicated, we do have some vacancies currently with our Planning Commission. One of those vacancies has been the result of a resignation several months ago, but we have 2 members that have served out their full 2 terms, and we would need to replace those 2 as well as the vacancy that we already have. We have a list of potential candidates, and I think those have been reviewed by the county commissioners. So we'd like to have the commission to appoint these members. They are Kenzie Singleton, Karen Harris, and Scott Hornbeckle. So with that said, if you have no issues with those, we would like to have them available for our October meeting. So we need to get them approved and then sworn in prior to the Planning Commission meeting.
This is Don. I'd like to approve the three people nominated for the Planning Board Commission.
All right, thanks, Don.
Commissioner Dickinson, I'll second it.
Commissioner Dunn, how do you vote?
Yes on 2 and abstain from Scott Hornbuckle.
Okay. Commissioner Stottlemyre?
Yes.
Commissioner Howard?
Yes.
Commissioner Dickinson?
Yes.
Chair Waymeyer?
Yes. Our third item of business is to consider purchasing a vehicle for special service vehicle for the ambulance department. Is Nick on?
Good morning. Thank you. We have had some conversations about this for the last couple of years. We purchased 2 Ford Explorers in 2011. With that, their replacement schedule, on my replacement schedule, was presented to the commission. And for 2018, they were budgeted to be replaced. Due to the mileage, due to the vehicles running well, we decided to push that off for a couple of years. We remounted an ambulance last year. We're slated to remount an ambulance in 21. In 2020, we don't have anything scheduled for replacement except for 1 Explorer. That's the Explorer that's ran by the captain. That Explorer is reaching the end of life for emergency response. So what I'm proposing today is we take it out of the replacement schedule. As you know, we do quite a few classes up in Johnson County, Douglas County for CPR, ACLS, those classes. We have pulled vehicles out of service to transport the mannequins, the equipment up there. my proposal is we pull this out of the replacement schedule, replace it with a new vehicle, keep it at EMS to utilize to transport these supplies back and forth, and then at end of life, we don't replace it and sell it later on Purple Wave if we need to. I have went out, talked to 2 different vendors for vehicles that are already made up, kind of like we did with the Tahoe a few years ago. I did look at 2 demo Durangos. Both of those are set up for police response. They have the hard back seat in them, and putting the seats back in those, removing the cages is going to leave a lot of holes and cosmetic damage to a vehicle. Talking to Superior, they have 2 Dodge Ram 1500 pickups that are put together, ready to go. They've used one of them as a demo. The other one's brand new. These vehicles are $38,750 for a black one that has a few miles on it, $38,945 for one that has no miles on it. My suggestion or recommendation is we move forward with purchasing one of the Ram 1500s. This will also allow us, throughout the pandemic, we have purchased a trailer that can be mobilized to go to other communities for shot clinics or COVID testing. With this, the vehicle we've slated to pull it with is the one for emergency management, and we're also using emergency management's trailer for testing too. If that would get deployed, this would give us an opportunity to have another vehicle to pull that trailer with, so it would serve multiple purposes. We do have the money in the equipment reserve because, as I said, we did slate to replace these vehicles. Right now, we have $218,000. As I said, we're not supposed to replace an ambulance or remount till next year. We do have a $150,000 transfer, as always, built into the budget. So we will have more than enough money to fund the remount of an ambulance next year. With that being said, I would ask that the commission allows me to purchase a 2015 Ram 1500 pickup for response and to replace the captain's vehicle. Is there any questions?
This Commissioner Dunn, Nick, was that the one with no miles or the one that had some miles?
Looking at the vehicles, one of them's white and one of them's black. With the dirt roads that we drive, I would like to spend the extra $195 and go with the brand new one that's white for $38,945. But I won't argue if the commission approves the one that has black exterior for $38,750.
Commissioner Dunn, again, this is a 2015?
These are 2020, 1500.
Okay. Oh, okay, 1500s, okay.
This is Commissioner Dickinson. I think the white would be more consistent with the rest of our county vehicles, so I wouldn't have a problem going with the white one.
All right, then.
This Commissioner Dunn, I make a motion to allow the purchase of the 2020 white one.
And the amount, white Dodge Ram, the amount on that would be $38,945. Is that what your motion
Yes.
includes? Okay.
Yeah.
This is Don.
Go ahead, Don.
Second.
Commissioner Stottlemyre, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Howard?
Yes.
Commissioner Dickinson?
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn?
Yes.
Chair Waymire?
Yes. All right, thanks, Nick.
Thank you, commissioners.
All right, for fourth item, we'll be reviewing application for CDBG funds and consider for approval awarding said funds. Derek's listed on here, but I imagine, Paul, you want to take this one?
Sure. Good morning, Commissioners. This is the most recent application that we've had on the CDBG COVID relief funds. Just to give you a quick update on that fund, again, the grant amount was $132,000. We've awarded, if this is approved, 8 grants. I do need to update you. You approved a grant request for the Lane Tavern, and we do a final check thanks to the good work of Janet and all the great people over there at the courthouse to make sure that taxes are current. In that situation, they were not, so the check was not issued, and those funds were returned to Topeka to put back into our pot. So I wanted to give you an update on that and tip my hat to Janet and the good people over there at the courthouse that are helping monitor all of these things for me. Today, I have an application that is a business located in Pomona. It's the Yellow Dog Quilt Company. It's owned by Tammy Carpenter. This is an LLC, but it's a sole proprietor, basically. Quilt shop downtown in Pomona. Obviously, COVID's impacted this business pretty significantly. Her predominant main way of revenue is in classes and pulling people in for classes. And obviously, that's been hampered somewhat. So we reviewed and collected information as to refundable expenses. And the underwriter, our consultant, has also reviewed this, and we've totaled eligible expenses for this applicant of $8,026.05 over a 60-day period of May and June. And so I'm asking the commission today to approve the grant request for the Yellow Dog Quilt Company in the amount of $8,026.05. Happy to answer any questions.
Commissioner Howard, I don't have a question on this one. I do have a question on what you just told us on the other funds. Are they able to go back and refile if they get their things up to date?
They can. That's always a possibility if they get everything current. Yes.
Okay.
This is Commissioner Dickinson. Then I don't think you finished your thought. How much will we have left, or do we have anything left?
Yes, I'm sorry, thank you. If this is approved, we have just a little over $22,000 remaining to be awarded. And we have until June of 2021 to award those funds. I would anticipate we'll finish this up before the end of the calendar year.
All right. Would anyone like to make a motion to accept the application for CDBG funds?
Commissioner Howard, I'll make the motion.
Mr. Dunn, second.
Commissioner Howard, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Dickinson?
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn?
Yes.
Commissioner Stottlemyre?
Yes.
Chair Waymeyer?
Yes. All right, thanks, Paul. I'll hear from you. Get that signed for you.
Thank you, sir.
And our 5th item of business would be to consider for approval executing an agreement entitled Chief Elected Officials Agreement, and thereby appointing Chair of County Commission and alternate commissioner to serve on Kansas Workforce Development Area 2 Chief Elected Officials Board of Directors. Derek, do you want to fill us in on this?
Yeah, thanks, Cole. The 5 of you commissioners received an email advising you that the county hasn't executed this agreement. So Franklin County is part of a cooperative that spans quite the area, actually. It includes several nearby counties in Osage, Shawnee, Douglas, but it extends out to Pottawatomie County, Riley, Wabaunsee. We're part of what is considered a quote-unquote local area for workforce development related purposes. And this agreement in front of you is basically just asking for our participation. We will be part of the group regardless. But if we choose to participate, then we will get a say in, I think they receive workforce development related funds from the state. And by agreeing to participate, this would give us a say in how those funds get spent. The agreement requires that counties appoint their chair to the board, but it also allows for an alternate elected official. So if we wish to participate, then obviously we would need a motion to sign the agreement, but then we would need a motion appointing Chair Waymeyer and then an alternate elected official. It doesn't state county commissioner, so it can be, I suspect Janet's chomping at the bit to do this, but I would ask her first to be very clear. But if there's another commissioner who would also like to be appointed, then certainly that would be appropriate. Thank you.
This is Commissioner Dickinson. It seems like we would be better off to be in a workforce group that included the Kansas City area. Any way we can change it?
I wouldn't even begin to know how to go through the process of changing that, to be real honest. I don't know if that would be something to reach out to the Department of Commerce about. I'm happy to look into that, but I assume these groups are put together by the state legislature, and I'm not sure that at the county level we have the ability to easily change that, but I'm happy to look into it.
This is Commissioner Dickinson again. Janet, are you on? What would you be interested in being the alternate elected official?
I would be willing to serve in that, yes.
And to be very clear, Janet has never expressed any interest in this whatsoever. So I don't want to saddle her with it, and I don't want you to be saddled, Janet. That was my attempt at some humor this morning, but.
I understand that, and I am always willing to go and meet with other elected officials and certainly find ways that we can improve things in our community. So if you, as the commission, desire for me to be in that position, I would be willing to. If another one of you commissioners would like to serve in that capacity, I'm certainly willing to sit this out and let you do it.
This is Colt. When I read the email, my first thought was ideally this would be something that maybe Paul would be on if the intent of this board is workforce development and bringing programs and resources, anything we can to this area to develop our workforce. Well, that couldn't fit more perfectly with Paul's organization, and obviously Paul's done a fantastic job with the CDBG and frankly, getting businesses put together with any other resources that are available. So he's done a great job with it. It runs perfectly with the mission of his organization. However, it's not possible. You have to be an elected official. So.
Well, this is Derek, and that was very well said. But there is nothing that would preclude Paul from attending. I don't think this is a board that meets a lot, but if it is something that he is interested in and would be willing to help with, I do think it'd still be a good idea for him to attend alongside whichever elected official we designate from Franklin County.
Sure.
I would be more than happy to participate and support that in any way possible, but certainly happy to do what Derek and Colt, what you're recommending. I'd be thrilled and eager to do that.
This is Commissioner Dickinson again. The agenda sheet on this does not say alternate elected official. It says alternate commissioner.
Yeah, semantics that I use. The agreement itself, let me pull it up, says another elected official from the local government. So.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Would anyone like to make a motion to execute the chief elected officials agreement? And I guess by effect, you'd be appointing myself by necessity and Janet as an alternate to this board.
This is Don. I'll make that motion.
Commissioner Howard is second it.
Commissioner Dickinson, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn?
Yes.
Commissioner Stottlemyre?
Yes.
Commissioner Howard?
Yes.
Chair Waymeyer?
Yes. All right. Now we're down to staff reports. Derek?
Yeah. Thanks, Colt. This is Derek. The majority of my time continues to be spent on the county's COVID-19 response. Interestingly, and we've been seeing this for weeks, but it's becoming more and more apparent that our citizens are tired. They're tired of hearing about COVID. They're becoming increasingly frustrated with it. And that's certainly understandable, but it doesn't change the fact that it's here, and it's more prevalent in this community than it's ever been. And my staff and I are still feeling the effects of that on our workload, just like we were back in March and April when all of this was starting. And so we continue to field calls, we continue to field emails, and we continue to encourage people to abide by the health department's guidelines, as well as those from KDHE and the CDC. So Nick will talk to you more about the specifics of what we're doing here momentarily. Janet and I continue to work on the CARES Act funding allocation. We had a nice conversation yesterday with Dustin. Dustin's done a great job of negotiating. So he had several, in our direct aid spending plan, there were several technology related items, and he's done a great job of negotiating the prices down, and in doing so has freed up some additional money. And so Janet and I are going to need to sit down and kind of have a larger discussion about what an amended plan looks like, because as some of the quotes have come in, as we've actually gotten hard prices on things, we've realized that there is some additional money there. And the board obviously will play a role in that. That you would have to approve any amended plan that we submit. But one of the things I want to talk to you about today, and if we need to kick this to Monday's study session, we absolutely can. But one of the items in our direct aid spending plan was cameras for the juvenile detention center. Now, I spoke with each of you late last week, and that was part of the discussion. What is the level of desire? Because each of you kind of had different opinions on this. As we've discussed, the JDC, I believe we have one juvenile in there right now, but I know that it's been pretty dicey since the onset of COVID. There have been chunks of time where we haven't housed any juveniles. And so there does appear to be some reluctance on at least some of your parts about putting additional money into that facility. And Colt, I'll turn this over to you in a second. If you don't want to have this discussion during a staff report, I get it. Happy to put it on the study session for Monday, and we can also talk about other potential uses of that funding at that time. But I did want to get an idea today on how the board would like to proceed there. And so, Janet, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's around just over 90 grand maybe on the camera system. And the question is, you know, these aren't county tax dollars, obviously. It's, you know, it's money from the federal government, but what is the comfort level of putting additional money into the JDC at this time? I've got Ken on the call as well this morning if you have any questions for him. And Colt, I'll let you, I guess, take it from here.
Okay, would that be, and then also, well, first of all, let me say, how cool is it and what a good example of this organization, what you're saying Dustin did. You know, we have this money, it's found money, we could easily just say, all right, I want to buy that. You know, it's from the federal government, but instead Dustin went out and got us a better price and then didn't take any of it for granted and didn't, it was always, it's just a good example of what we're doing here. So does that 90,000, and would we also have kind of that savings that Dustin found that we need to decide what to do with?
Yeah, and at this point in time, well, yeah, we would, and that
could
may be
potentially be part of that conversation too, if we want to look at our options.
Yeah, Colt, if I could just jump in here really fast, this is Janet, and I think there is going to be some money left available from Dustin, but I mean, I think that Derek and I need to have a conversation about this, and, you know, just think that, you know, as Dustin's came in lower, I mean, it is possible that we do have some that come in a little bit higher, so we are making some adjustments in different areas of the plan. So the plan is very fluid, as they've told us all along. So I would just caution the organization in utilizing all the funds, you know, right away without leaving some cushion in there for reserve to handle overages by, you know, some different projects that we have.
Okay, so we'll leave that remainder kind of on the table, and the question in front of us would just be whether or not we want to look at our options or continue ahead with the camera project for the JDC right now. So let's kind of go down the list and get everybody's thoughts, and that may give us an idea of how to move forward. How about Commissioner Howard, you're first on the roll call list.
I probably would say let's go to a study session on this. It could get into a little bit lengthy of discussion, I think, when we're going to start talking about JBC. I think maybe a study session might be a good idea.
All right, so we'll look at our options at a study session. Commissioner Dunn?
I have similar thoughts. Either we get Tim's comments today and go from there, or maybe a study session be more appropriate.
All right. Commissioner Dickinson?
Yeah, I think there's a lot to discuss. I'm not sure that making a decision about the JDC in the middle of COVID is a good thing, but I kind of considered what if we were no longer using it for JDC. I would think that we would try to revamp and still utilize it for some kind of inmate holding facility, which the cameras couldn't hurt no matter what we're using it for. So anyway, but I think that a study session would be an excellent place to expand our discussion.
All right. Commissioner Stottlemyre?
Yeah, I kind of agree with Diane there. I was thinking the same thing. Just because it, let's say it ceases to be juveniles, the next use would probably need cameras even worse. So I'd like to see more discussion on this study session.
All right. I agree. Looks like a little more time, a little more information would be a better way to make a decision going forward here. So.
Well, and Colt, this is Derek. To be clear, I am in no way, shape, or form prepared to have the discussion Monday about the viability of the juvenile detention center. I mean, that is a discussion that will be had after substantial analysis and just with everything COVID related, I have not had anywhere near the time to do that. I mean, obviously it is part of the discussion, but what I am anticipating for Monday is really a CARES Act discussion, but that would obviously be a part of it. And I want to make sure we're all on the same page there, because if the board is expecting me to bring in, lengthy analysis about the JDC and other JDCs, that's just, I'm not going to be able to do that for Monday.
All right, understood.
All right, well, that is all I have today, Colt. Thank you.
All right. Let's see, Casey, are you on? You have anything?
I am on. So I just have a quick update. I tell Derek all the time, I feel like my updates are telling you everything that other department heads are doing, so I don't update very often. But we sent out our first employee newsletter yesterday since I've been employed. I know they used to have one in the past, and Carrie and I had talked several times about an employee newsletter, but COVID kind of took over. But yesterday we got out the first issue, and we plan to release that quarterly. So if you haven't seen it, let me know, and I will send it your way, commissioners. But we're really excited about it. And if you have any feedback or thoughts on it, I would love to hear that as well. Also, our website update is well underway, and we have a projected completion date of the end of the year and going live by the 1st of 2021. So we're excited about that as well. And then other than that, I've just been doing a lot of stuff for the health department outside of COVID. They have flu shot clinics coming up. They're going to be doing drive-through clinics the whole month of October. And those are going to be all around the county. So there's one in Williamsburg, Pomona, Richmond, Wellsville, and Ottawa. If you still need a flu shot, which Dr. Ransom and I had a discussion, and he highly recommends getting a flu shot this year if you haven't in years past, just because of having a respiratory illness during the COVID pandemic is going to cause you a lot more issues with missing work and stuff, because there's a great chance that regardless of if you have the flu, you're also going to be tested for COVID, and you have to wait for those results. And you can mitigate that issue by just getting a flu shot. So that's really all I have for my update. But does anybody have any questions for me?
Casey, this is Commissioner Dickinson. I don't have a question, but I have a comment. I did read that newsletter yesterday and very much enjoyed it. I think it's a great idea, especially during the pandemic. A couple of things that I really liked about it is I know that we've had some very quality individuals retire this year, and we've not been able to really honor them with a retirement reception, but this gives us the information that is out there to kind of give them kudos for their time with the county. And I also like the part where, we honor our people because they've worked for us for 5 years or 10 years, but that being able to point out different achievements that different people have done, that was a really great part of it too. I enjoyed it.
Thanks, Diane.
This is Commissioner Dunn. Casey, what's the cost of flu shot, and do the employees have to pay the same price?
So great question. Most insurances cover the cost of a flu shot. So if you carry insurance through Franklin County as an employee, then your flu shot is covered. Insurance, I think the only insurance that doesn't cover the cost of a flu shot through the health department is Aetna. But regardless of your ability to pay for a flu shot, the health department will work with you, and either they'll make it happen for you, whether you get that at a low to no cost.
All right, thanks, Casey.
Yep.
Let's get an update from Nick Robbins.
Thank you, Commissioner. This is Nick. Quite a bit of happenings going on in the COVID world for Franklin County. We have identified an outbreak at Ottawa University that's been a place we've been doing a lot of testing over there, working with the state throughout this process. With that, our numbers are up. We have, for the total year, or since COVID started, we're at 376 total positives. If you look at September, we had a pretty good jump up on that. We are at the, I believe right at 113 positives for September. The thing that really makes a difference with this, if you look at CMS guidelines for the testing in the nursing facilities, if we hit the 10% positive to negative ratio, they are a mandatory weekly test for all employees over there. So right now we're at 9.43% total positive to testing for September. In August, we did have 112 total positives, and we tested 1,666. With the state guidelines, and they're starting to change some restrictions a little bit with the now outbreak that we have in the community, KDHE has tightened their testing guidelines to only testing symptomatic individuals for Ottawa University and related contacts to that. So we've only tested 1,198 this month versus the large amount we tested last month. And that's because of the KDHE guidelines and what we're working through with that. So it has driven our positive to negative ratio up to that 9.43. So that's been a process we've been working through. We have had a couple of our local schools that have had some of their sports programs quarantined for the 14 days. And the thought processes with that is KDHE sets those guidelines. Once that spreads from one school and potentially into another, KDHE steps in. With that, we have to quarantine that sporting event for 14 days. So everybody on that team or in that anything that they consider high risk will be 14 days quarantine. We won't do random testing on them. We won't test asymptomatic. Only if they have symptoms will they get tested. So I wanted to take a minute to let you guys know that, because that has been some changes that we have had to make since the beginning of this. Continue to work hand in hand with the nursing facilities on Tuesday phone calls. They continue to do a good job. The state just gave most of them a different testing mechanism than the one they used the first time. As the first time, there was quite a few false positives that came out of that. So with that, they're using an Abbott card system, which is, we still have seen a couple positives that we have sent in for confirmation to the state and awaiting those results, but it has a lower false positive rating. So that's one of the things that they're seeing. One of the other things nursing facilities are looking at doing are moving visits indoors throughout the summer. They've done a lot of outdoor visits. As the weather changes, they're starting to navigate that. So it's been quite a few conversations with them. As far as the high schools or all of the schools in the community, we're working on a superintendent meeting for Thursday to just check and see how they're doing, answer any questions that they have, and make sure we're still all on the same page with our response and the changes from KDHE. Other than that, as Casey said, we do have flu clinics firing up. The health department staff over there is doing a tremendously good job getting prepared for those. We're continuing to test what we can, do a lot of contact tracing, and working very much hand in hand with Ottawa University throughout this to keep everybody as safe as possible. With that, I'm willing to answer any questions that you have.
This is Commissioner Dickinson. I have a question for you. I know we kind of moved you into the head of the health department slot early on in this pandemic, and you are still there. And I just want to make sure that we have given you enough resources and enough support. Just want to make sure that you're doing fine in that capacity.
And I appreciate that. We have made some changes with staffing in the health department. We have been able to make some personnel changes over there, which has given some day-to-day guidance for that department. So I feel we're doing really good at this time.
All right, well, thank you for the update, Nick.
Thank you.
Okay, Janet, you have anything for us?
Not at this time.
All right, David Lee, Public Works.
Good morning, Commission. I'm just getting back in the office, so I'm still trying to find the bottom of my desk, but there are a few things that I'd like to bring you up to speed on. If you recall, we had 3 different bridge decks that we were concerned about, and we had our bridge engineers with Cook Platt and Strobel come down week before last to view those bridges. I noticed this morning I have the report in my inbox. As I get a chance to review that, I'll be visiting with Derek and probably be bringing those items before you. Also got a couple of requests to close minimum maintenance roads in the area, which is always a good thing. And the Iowa Terrace project is nearing completion. So that's what I know as of 9:15 this morning.
Well, David, this is Commissioner Dickinson. Glad you're back. I do have one question for you. I'm not even sure it's our responsibility, but there's a pretty good pothole in front of the Elizabeth Layton Center, right at the end of the pavement, right before it goes into dirt road. Is that us, or is that in the city limits?
That is us, and that is going to be, that's an area that we have tried to patch over a few times, but once Kilo Construction gets up and running, that's one of the spots that they will be addressing.
Awesome, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you for the update. Let's move on to commissioners' comments and board reports. Commissioner Howard.
I don't have anything this time.
All right, Commissioner Dunn.
Well, let me say I drove by the annex, and it looks like the Vance brothers did an excellent job on the parking lot. I think that's going to last a long time. Other than that, I haven't done anything.
All right. Yeah, I pulled in this morning, and it did look sharp. I think they did a good job as well. Commissioner Dickinson.
I do have a question about this. Commissioner Dickinson. Have they got the lines on yet?
No, not yet.
Do you have any kind of an idea when that's going to be done?
Next Monday.
Okay, I actually saw it and I went by it on a work day, and I thought that people were doing a very good job of keeping kind of in a correct position. But yes, I did drive by it last week. It does look awesome, and it just kind of reminds me of all the projects that we've been able to do in the last couple of years. You know, it's just another one we can check off our list, and the way we're keeping our facilities in good shape. I did attend a chamber coffee at Rock Creek of Ottawa last Friday. It was outside. They did not allow any of us in the building. They did say that they had opened up for family visiting just the day before, and that it was their director of nursing actually was hired at the beginning of the year, and we were supposed to have a chamber coffee to honor her, which was canceled early on. So basically she became the director of nursing, and then COVID hit. So good luck to her for dealing with that during the whole pandemic. But the fact that we have gotten this far through COVID with no positives in any of our long-term care facilities is just amazing. And just kudos to all of the workers there who are keeping the pandemic, are being proactive about not getting in a place where they might be exposed. And then the last thing is, I think maybe more than any other year before, if you are not registered to vote, you need to register to vote. And if you're registered to vote, you need to vote. Everybody needs to vote in the general election this year. I think it's going to be very important. And that's it.
All right, Commissioner Stottlemyre?
Yeah, first I'll say I got an email right here in front of me from City of Wellsville. Their meeting tonight. I probably try to attend if I can. I see they're going to be introducing a new council member, Mr. Luke Henry, and then there's several other things on the agenda, but that seemed to be their number one thing. I did have last Wednesday, I did a Zoom meeting with the state RC&D council, which I served as the president, and a couple of good things come out of that. We did discuss the $25,000 that we had received last year grant, and we're going to put out notices to the RC&Ds in Kansas that they can apply for a share of this money, and that will put out letters to them. They'll have till December 31st to apply for part of this money, and it'll go towards food issues in Kansas. And the second thing, we did get notified, which we've been working on for 2 years, working with the National RC&D, and they're going to relocate the national office for the RC&D. And one of the locations we shot for in Kansas was the CCAN office, RC&D in Chanute. They own their own building. In fact, the NRCS even rents them, and they do have a full-time coordinator, and it looks like we are going to get the national office for the United States in Chanute, Kansas, and it looks like we're going to get a $93,000 grant for the first 2 years of that from the National Conservation Districts to help support that. So it'll be a big feather in the cap for RC&D. It'll be a big feather in the cap for the state of Kansas and put us on the map as a national headquarters. That's all I got.
All right, thank you, Don. I've attended the Elizabeth Layton Center Board meeting since last we met. Really nothing that I feel like I need to report back, but that organization still running well. Their volumes are down a little bit this month, but kind of waiting to see what normal's going to turn out before any decisions are made to change operations or anything like that. We're hopeful it's going to pick back up. So.
This is Commissioner Dickinson. I have a quick question for Janet.
Yeah, let me finish my update if I could.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
Derek, I did want to say thank you to Derek. His article there in the employee newsletter I thought was great. I think that kind of shows great leadership, and his message down to employees really sets the tone for what we're trying to build here and what his vision for the county is. And I think that kind of communication does a lot more than we realize. So I appreciated that. Go ahead, Ian. Did you have something?
Yeah, Janet, I kind of heard mixed things. Does census end today, or do we have more time?
I believe they've extended it possibly till the end of October. I have not heard anything from our rep, but that was my understanding yesterday that they extended the deadline.
Cool. All right. All right. Anything else from staff, Derek?
Yeah, I would just add one thing, a couple of comments about the annex parking lot and the painting. To be clear, Brandon actually had our painting contractor lined out to paint it immediately upon the skim coat being applied. But we were told by Vance Brothers that if we were to put paint down on it immediately, that it would actually turn brown. Apparently there is some period of time it needs to sit, and I don't know if cure is the right word, but it needs to sit for a period before they recommend putting paint on it. And so that is why there's been a bit of a delay. We obviously would like to minimize that as much as possible, but we didn't want to put down thousands of dollars in stripes only to have them turn brown and not look good anyway. So that's all I have, Colt. Thanks.
All right. It's good to know. Any other commissioners' comments?
This is Commissioner Dunn, a question for Janet. I got an email from Kim Quells from KAC and just said that 28 counties, only 28 counties responded to the KAC virtual meeting and KCAM K-Works, and I didn't know if she put me in now, or do I need to do something?
We have responded, and so they should be reaching out to you with your credentials to get into the meeting. I will double check with her today to make sure there's nothing else that you need to do on your end, but I'm pretty sure that they need to send you credentials so that you can participate.
Okay. Thank you, Janet.
All right. Anything else? Who would like to make a motion to adjourn?
Mr. Dunn.
I think Don got in for the motion and Dunn got the second. All in favor of adjourning, say aye.
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 Any opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.